everyone. Welcome back to the CATA Secondary School Podcast. I'm CJ Rosenborough alongside Katie, Ashley, and Amy. And in today's episode, we're breaking down the BOC's new recertification process, which is powered through Pathfinder / called Pathfinder. We'll get into it. But we're excited to have everyone here to break this down since it is a new process. But before we jump into the conversation, as always, let's quickly break down what we'll be covering in today's episode. So we're going to start off with going over what is Pathfinder, how did we get here, and then jump into what are the components of Pathfinder, break that down so that you guys are comfortable with what that looks like, and then go through the CEUs, any changes like that. And then we'll wrap up with a couple announcements and updates on CATA and what's been going on recently. So Ashley, jumping straight into the Pathfinder, how did we get to this point?
Why are you asking me how we got here?
The question. The answer's right there.
CJ, Ashley is here for comic relief. What are you doing?
That's true.
Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So in 2024, the BOC conducted a large-scale pilot of the Pathfinder platform, and more than 3,000 athletic trainers participated. So participants strongly agreed that the Pathfinder was effective, with over 90% finding the platform easy to use and valuable in raising awareness of their strengths and blind spots, which now that I've played with it, I totally agree.
Katie, have you played with this at all?
No, I've not. I've heard Ashley talk about it a lot, and I'm really excited to get into it. The joys of my high school Wi-Fi blocks websites, and I couldn't get to it till every time I go to look at it, I'm like, oh, got to do that from home. Then I haven't had a chance. But I've read the documentation on it, so I'm excited to use it because it seems like it's going to be easier.
I was doing it this past week just to prep for this episode because, to be quite honest, I was kind of in your boat, Katie, where I'm like, I know nothing about this, but we're talking about it, so I should probably learn about it. I think Ashley was the only one of us who had actually kind of dove into it a little bit. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be cool to see how it kind of identifies some blind spots and strengths. I'm curious to see what are my blind spots going to be, because I don't want my CEUs to be not relevant to my job. And I know my blind spots are going to be things that aren't relevant to my job on purpose. Ashley.
Well, all it does is you take that 15 question questionnaire, and that it just kind of shows you what you got right, what you got wrong. You don't have to do CEs in those deficiencies. You don't.
Okay.
It's just showing you what they could be. But yeah, your CEUs don't have to be related to the Pathfinder questions in any way. So it doesn't matter.
Okay.
So what do the questions do then?
So the questions, they just give you an update on hey, you got this question wrong. Maybe you should look into refreshing your memory on this topic. And then it does suggest 2 possible CEU courses to take in that. I think that's also pretty cool that you can just click right into the continuing education course if you did want to learn more and refresh. But for instance, I took my first Pathfinder questionnaire and I got a dental question, and it was which tooth is the most likely to be knocked out, but I don't remember what the teeth names are. Right. It's not something I deal with all the time.
The one that got hit.
Exactly. So it was
is it one of the front ones?
Something incisor. I think so, because I don't know what that tooth is called.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So we'll get into that a little bit more in section 2. Oh, sorry, Katie, did you have a...
No, it's okay. I'll wait for section 2 for my question.
Thank you. Just trying to keep us organized here. Because
I'm here to derail it.
if we start talking about that, we're skipping section 1 completely. Okay, so what is Pathfinder? It's a continuing professional certification, so CPC renewal, and it's powered by Pathfinder. So Pathfinder is kind of the catch-all name that we're starting to refer to. That's what it is on the BOC. That's what everyone's like, hey, Pathfinder, but it's the CPC renewal. Still a 2-year renewal period, just like it was before, but now it's 8 3-month segments with those challenge questions that we were just talking about. So every 3 months, you have a segment where you have, I think it's 15 challenge questions that you answer. and that's pretty much a segment for what I understand. You do have one segment of grace period available for added flexibility. So if you miss one, I think you get one grace period. There's grandfathered in for anyone certified before 2026. Essentially, we'll go through all that. But if you miss that grace period, I think it reverts you back to the legacy renewal. So we'll get into that a little bit. Ashley, are you familiar with the 2 tracks available for CPC?
Well, by that, do you mean either the Pathfinder or the old one?
Yes. Yeah. The legacy versus the Pathfinder. Do you know the differences?
Well, one of the main differences, which is why I love Pathfinder, is that for the Pathfinder you only need 40 CEUs, and not having to do 10 CEUs was a big pro for me.
It's huge.
But the Pathfinder, again, it's you just have to answer the questions and you set 2 goals and that's it. And they are not babysitting you. They are not tracking you. They are not paying attention to exactly what CEs you're doing in relation to what types of questions you got wrong. And then the legacy renewal is just all you do is the same thing you've always done. However, the fact that all the new athletic trainers are required to do the Pathfinder and they don't have the option of legacy, I don't know what that means when it comes to like, what if they miss, one of those sections? I don't know what that will do, or if you can just kind of take it. If you're like 6 months behind, if you can just kind of go through and catch up real quick, because you should be able to, because that's not changing anything.
What
But
if I get all mine done before?
You can just log them in. That's okay.
Yeah,
But then but then every 3 months you do have to go in and just take that.
So then I still have to remember to do my questions.
Yeah, the 15 questions.
Do I get an email to remind me to do it?
That's a
Could
good
we
question.
take this moment to remind everybody to read their emails from the NATA and not just scan through them and pass them over?
I wrote down that you get
I think
email.
You get a reminder email.
I think it's in the challenge questions section.
Yes.
Yeah.
But again,
Sorry,
back to
I'm just here to derail us with
You're
questions.
fine. Yes. Email notifications will alert you when a new My Challenge question segment becomes available.
Yeah. But the fact that all the new athletic trainers have to do Pathfinder, that kind of tells me that in the future, all of us are just going to have to do Pathfinder.
I think the legacy will be, I think they're saying it's there, but I think in 3 years it'll be gone.
I think, in 3, 5, whatever it is, I think it's gone.
I also think it's a good idea because it won't pigeonhole people into only learning what they want to learn.
Yes. Well, we'll get into that. Because I have some thoughts on how that
us older folk in the profession, we've been out of the classroom for a while and we've forgotten some of those basic little things that maybe it is a good refresh. Now, in my dental question, do I need to know the names of the teeth to be a good athletic trainer? No. So I wasn't going to go ahead and just take a dental course, but as long as you know how to deal with it. But I'm sure it's going to point out deficiencies somewhere else. And I'm going to be like, ooh, that I do probably need to dig back into.
Brings it to your attention, which I think is nice. I'm hoping that the athletic trainers that are coming through now that have to go through Pathfinder, I'm hoping that part of the accreditation information that they're teaching is what happens if they miss that grace period. I don't have that information. I didn't see it on there, but I'm hoping that that's been communicated to them because I have no idea what that looks like. So Katie, if you opt out, can you change your mind later and opt back in if you are eligible for the legacy and you're like, I'm just going to do the legacy and do the 50. And you're like, actually, no, I don't want to do those extra 10 CUs. I'm going to do the Pathfinder. Can you opt back in later?
I don't know.
I think you can email them.
If you guys don't start,
I don't actually know the answer.
The outline
but I'm guessing.
You're screwed, homie.
I think you can. Yeah, I was like, did you want me to say no? You're screwed. Sounds like you're screwed because I read that you're screwed.
But what does that
mean?
Amy,
we're sorry. This is CJ's fault.
Hey, it's an informal episode. It's fine. This is not going to be a CEU episode. We can do whatever we want. So if you opt out, you cannot opt back in. You can look and figure out the Pathfinder, go through the first segment, and then if you don't like it, you can opt out. But once you opt out, it'll ask you to confirm, and then you're out. You can't come back in. Or if you change your mind, you can just say it was a mistake and email pathfinder@bocatc.org and opt back in. So it's a little workaround.
Is that only if you click opt out, or is that if you miss your
I,
grace period?
that's a great question. It did not specify.
I know, right?
Yeah.
There's so many questions. This is a new thing. We're all gonna figure it out as we go here.
I'm sure there'll be some grace too. I mean, in addition to the grace period, like if people are learning. So I think if you have any issues, just email pathfinder@bocatc.org and I'm sure that they'll be able to help you out.
Yeah, and anytime I've ever contacted the BOC, they have been phenomenal in their help. They've been so helpful. They are like the best. So don't
Okay.
be afraid to reach out.
So if you need more information, the BOC website has tons of information. They've also sent, like when you log in, there's previous communication on your profile. If you just scroll down to like the bottom after hitting Pathfinder, there's BOC emails. So in case you deleted all them, they're saved in your BOC profile, which is pretty nice. I have some from January 8th, February 4th, February 10th. So you can look at those emails, open them, and it gives you some more information on what's going on. So that's pretty helpful. They also will be at a ton of exhibitions this year. So they'll be at all of the NATA district meetings. They'll be at the NATA Clinical Symposia and AT Expo. They'll be at the Athletic Trainers and Physician Practice Society Annual Conference, and they'll be at the American Medical Society for Sports Medicine Annual Meeting as well. So if you're at any of those big symposia, they will be there. Stop by if you have any questions or just to kind of chat and get some more information and some clarity on that to get some of those questions answered. Cool. All right. That was a significantly shorter introduction than our last episode.
It's an easier topic.
It is. All right, so we're gonna hop into the kind of meat of the episode. I guess I can let's do this. Boop. We're just gonna hop into the meat of the episode. What does Pathfinder look like? So Ashley, you and I have already done the first setting of goals. So I'll let you kick this one off. There's
Yeah.
SMART questionnaire and then SMART goals. What does that process of going to set up look like?
So that process is super easy. Once you log into the BOC website, just like normal, you'll find a button on that right side of the screen that says go into Pathfinder. And once you get up to Pathfinder, you have your dashboard. And it has 3 sections: the My Goals, so you can complete the very quick, very easy, SMART questionnaire, and then you can hit Manage Goals and set your goals. Now, if I go into mine here, the questionnaire is super easy. You don't have to answer in anything specific. So these can be very general answers. For instance, mindset, one of the questions is, what are your knowledge and skills deficiencies as an AT? And I wrote documentation because of our documentation episode. And so, like, it's just something easy, something you're good at, something you're not great at, and then just answer the questions. And again, these questions have no bearing on which CEUs you actually do. Okay. They're just there to help you, guide you if you need the guidance. And when you're setting the goals, it's also just as easy. It's literally fill in the blanks. So it says, I will, and you fill in the blank. So I said, expand my fill in the blank skills in fill in the blank rehabilitation to fill in the blank improve patient care. There's my goal. That's my SMART goal. I will expand my skills in rehabilitation to improve patient care. Like, that's it. So they're super easy. Don't be intimidated. Just go on through it, and it's not a big deal.
I did that and I was like, oh, this is nice. And now that you're talking through it, I'm like, doesn't that miss the M? I could see Amy's face was like, hold on a second. So yeah, yeah.
Oh, is that no?
The measurable.
You're right. It does not measurable.
It does not measurable.
Well, other than if you set the goal, it also asks you to go in and like say you completed the goal, and it does make you do a time. Like, I'm going to do this by this time.
Oh, that's right. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So it's 3 to 5 SMART goals for everyone is recommended. If you were certified prior to 2026, you're required to set at least 2 SMART goals. If you are certified in 2026 or later, you are required to set 1 SMART goal. I really don't know why they're required to set less. It probably should be even for everyone because everyone needs SMART goals. But they recommend 3 to 5 SMART goals for everyone. And you can So when you go in and do those SMART goals, don't panic and be like, I need to make these perfect. I don't know. You can change them at any time after they're created. You can delete them. You can add new ones. So you're not committed to those. Ashley, what happens if you fail to achieve your goals that you set?
Absolutely nothing. Again, no one is micromanaging you in this. No one is paying attention to your goals and if you've achieved them. So you can just go through and maybe change your goals, or they're there as guidance. They're not there as holding your feet to the fire.
Yeah, I think a lot of people when they heard this was like, this sounds like a lot more work. Like this is more just, it's helping you. Honestly, it's things you should be doing already. But it's helping you.
It does seem like it's more of a self-assessment situation here.
Mhm.
Like
Full
they're
self.
giving you the questions to do your own self-assessment, self-help situation.
Yeah, there is, spoiler alert, there are no penalties for any of this other than the CEUs. And if you don't answer the questions, but like if you fail to do your SMART goals, if you get the questions wrong, that doesn't matter.
Right.
Nope.
Currently, you just have to do the 10
You
more
just have to do them.
CEUs.
Yep.
Well, even if you get everything wrong, like if you get all the challenge
Right.
questions wrong and you get and you don't achieve any of your SMART goals, as long as you do the 40 CEUs,
You're
you're
good.
good to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is
Oh,
all
really?
just
So you don't even have to do the extra 10 as long as you're doing
correct.
all the
Correct.
As long as you go through the steps, you can get everything wrong. from
Yep.
what I
My
understand.
poor brain can't handle that. I'm a rule follower. Like I want there to be a penalty. Sorry, guys. Like, I don't know. I'm like, no, reward me for doing a good job, please. Thank you.
Your
Your
just going
reward.
through it is reward.
Yeah.
You do
You get to stay certified.
Listen,
Yeah.
can someone give me a treat?
you do get a little badge with a star on it
Oh, okay. Well, fine.
that you can put in your
Something.
email. Is that a good enough treat for you?
I mean, not really, because my employer.
The way she cut out when she said that, so it sounded so funny.
My employer won't let me use my badges.
I do not, Amy, to answer your question, I don't think our employer can see this. No.
I think this is an exact reference as to why we do such a better job on our CEU episodes currently. We lock in a little bit better.
But I mean, we've all listened to podcasts where it's like structure, and then it's a shit show, and it's like those are fun podcasts too. So it's okay to have one
I
off
agree.
the hook every now and then.
Yes.
Show that we're still human and not like robots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also not always a nerd because I'm not on top of this episode.
I know. I can't believe I asked you two questions. You're like, one, you're just like, and the other, you're doing a quiz.
Okay, the quiz one, I was totally distracted because I was trying to get the tooth question right, and I still got it wrong, even after Ashley told me, and I was... And so then I was like, oh, I gotta lock in for this and then stop because I thought maybe I'd just get through it.
Well, it's interesting. It's good to know that we get the same questions.
Right.
So for those of you listening, there is a question about teeth on there. So come prepared.
Which tooth gets knocked out most often or something
And
like
she
that.
did not give you the answer because 3 of them have incisor at the end
Exactly. They were a little
Yes.
tricky.
So the answer was not even given away. But also there's questions on there where like I only made it through 5. The first one I was pretty confident in, but I made it through 5 questions so far. And I did like pause and go, oh wait, do I know the answer to this on at least 3 of them?
Yeah.
Still got the incisor one wrong. And you guys, I'm going to tell you it was that tooth.
It was that.
Same with CJ. The one that got hit is the one that got knocked out. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Put it in the tooth saver and send it to the dentist.
Yeah.
Cool.
And yeah, you're right. And there were things on there that I was like, I've never heard of that test. Like, I think there was one called a bear hug test. I don't know what that is. Yeah.
So you put an arm here. You can't see
It's
me.
like forced internal
people.
rotation.
So it's arm across your body, elbow bent, as if you're grabbing your opposite shoulder, and then you're gonna athletic trainer is gonna resistively pull away from their body. They're hugging like you're hugging a bear, hugging to their chest, like you're hugging a teddy bear. They're hugging to their chest. You're pulling away from their body.
I'm glad you said teddy bear because I was like, no, bears are a lot bigger than that.
Bear hug, teddy bear hug test. You're pulling their arm away from their body.
A positive test is pain, by the way.
Yeah.
I have a whole
in the right
sheet of shoulder special tests that I got from the NATA one year.
Oh
and basically the whole talk was how special tests for the shoulder are garbage because everything hurts in the shoulder. It is literally, it's a
Hey,
cluster.
revert back to Katie
1,
hating
2,
to
3,
treat the
4,
shoulder.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
I was gonna say I really like
12,
my shoulder
13,
special
14,
test, but I've never done the
15,
bear hug.
16, 17. There are
Well,
17 special tests in this
The
cluster.
bear hug
You
is
need to share
one,
that with me, CJ.
I'll
the
send
bear
you a-
hug is one of 12 tests that are suggested to do every time you do a shoulder test. And they have narrowed it down to being 12 specific tests that will tell you definitively what is wrong with the shoulder, supposedly.
It is testing the subscapularis.
Did you just read that from the Pathfinder, Katie?
No, I did not. That was actually from a CEU course that I took.
And it was still in your brain?
Oh.
It was. You guys, the way.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing me back to being smart on this podcast.
So here's the problem. With this
Have we talked
Pathfinder
about
telling
that on
me,
the nerd yet?
Kitty, I think you're gonna have the same problem I am. With this Pathfinder telling me where I'm not good at, I'm gonna have to like get better at it. But then this podcast is also highlighting what I'm not great at. Like documentation is taking me a hot minute now, guys, because
Me
of our
too.
last episode.
But hey,
Yeah.
it's good. All of us need to improve all day, every day.
We mentioned that Katie also thinks we need another episode on documentation because she thought of all the other things. Yeah, no, again, I would like a reward for doing well on my test. If I get 100%, I feel like I should get a less CEUs, but also I already get more than my 50 CEUs every 2 years because I like learning, and that's how my brain works. And so I remember little bits and pieces of all of these things and put them all together, and then my brain runs at 1,000,000 miles a minute, and I derail our podcast all the time,
And
trying to
that's how we
get
got
all of
here.
my thoughts out to you.
That is how we got to where we are now. So let's go ahead. While we're back on track of the podcast, we're going to move on to the next question. And for those of you who want, we'll add in the shoulder test from, I think it was NATA. Oh God, when did I graduate? 2019 was when.
You're such a baby.
I know. I have
I
gray hair
know.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's from
I
2019.
don't,
was when
so
this
we're
talk
winning.
was, so. God, that sounds far away and like not that long ago at the same
You
time.
graduated in 2019?
Sure did.
No.
There's no way.
No way.
Yeah. COVID was my first year. Yeah, that was a doozy. I'll tell you what.
What did you do? How old are you? What's happening right now?
I'm 33. It took me a long time to get the education in my brain. Yeah, no, I'm in my
Great.
7th year.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did you do pre-athletic training?
I took 2 years to get my associates. This has nothing to do with this episode. I took 2 years to get my associates, and then I went 3 years to finish out my bachelor's because I was working while going through, and then I took a year off to work, and then I went to grad school for 2 years, and then here I am.
Worked doing what?
A personal trainer.
Oh.
Yeah, to make
That-
more money.
that
That's why you're so
explains.
good at rehab.
Well, I was going to say
Honestly,
that
though,
explains. It actually explains a lot because that is. I will. Whatever. Leave this in the episode. The personal training, exercise science pathway to get to athletic training is, in my opinion, one of the best ones.
Yeah.
Because I did it backwards. My master's is exercise physiology. So, like, why? I think that matters when you're talking about rehab and how the body processes the pain and how you go through it and recover. So I think that's the best pathway. But that leads me back to, because I'm not that much older than you, but I graduated in 2010. So I was like, wait, where did those 9 years come from, CJ? Because you're missing 6. But I also 100% new athletic trainers. Your experience matters, and you learn a lot from experience. You don't just learn from school. You have to learn from experience. Here we are. CJ got life experience first, which probably makes him a better athletic trainer.
Yeah, it's like, when you look at it, I graduated high school in 2010. Sorry, Katie. I'm so sorry.
It's fine.
So it took me
not that
9
bad.
years, but yeah, I think that personal training was a great stepping stone to get some real life experience, which ironically, I think we talked about this before, when I was in like working at my second rotation, I was horrible at going from evaluation, diagnosis to rehab, which is kind of ironic because that's like what I'm good at now, but I was garbage. I'd be like, all right, it looks like a grade 2 ATF sprain. And be like, all right, what are you going to do for it? I'm like, I don't know. But Ashley.
So that's kind of how we got here.
That's true.
Yeah, I need us to focus because I have to go in and donate blood today.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
All right.
Okay.
Lock in.
Back on track. All right. So going into the challenge questions, and heads up for everyone. The first segment is due April 30th, and the due dates are listed on the dashboard when you log in. and they're updated as you progress. So after April 30th, they'll be updated with the new one. The second segment is from May to July, so it's every 3 months. For these challenge questions, ATs certified prior to 2026 have to complete 15 challenge questions per 3-month segment. Spoiler alert, one of them will be on teeth, most likely, for this month or this segment. And 7 of the 8 segments are required. For AT certified in 2026 or later, they have to complete 15 challenge questions per 3-month segment, but 3 of the 4 segments are required. Does that make sense? Okay,
No.
it doesn't really make sense to me either.
3
three of the 4,
segments.
but there's still 3 months. Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, makes no sense, but that's what it said on the website. So,
So wait, but 7 of 8 are.
You have one grace
Okay,
period, I guess.
so
I don't know.
okay,
Yeah,
so
you do
no,
have one.
yes, exactly. So if you miss one of the quarters,
Yeah,
you'll
you're
be
okay.
Built in,
Is-
yeah.
Yes. And if you're in a 2-year, if it depends when you graduate, is what it's saying, right? So it's new, early emerging new grads that are coming out, and if they graduate next year, they only have to do 3 of 4. If they graduate this year, they have to do 7 of 8 to get through. So if they miss one, they'll be okay, but they can't miss more than one.
That's what I'm assuming. All it
Okay.
said was AT certified in 2026, so I don't know. I mean, hopefully
When do we report? We report at the end of next year.
2028.
2 years, yeah, because
Yeah.
we just reported. So yeah,
So it should be 7 to 8, but it said 3 or 4. I don't know. Go through it. It's not that hard.
No,
It'll
this
get more clear.
reporting would have been 25, but they extended it the month. So the next one will be 27, right? Because it's every 2 years.
No, it's I put it down below.
Correct.
It's the 2027 cert renewal is due January 31st, 2028.
Yeah. Okay. Because
For the
they're now
2027.
extending it. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Just the extra month because of the holiday.
Yeah. So there's a lot of differences between when you're graduating, but it basically is just, it comes down to you do less if you just graduated, you do more if you've previously graduated earlier. Okay, so we've kind of talked about this a little bit, Katie, but these challenge questions, since you have unique experience in the past 5 minutes with these, what do they look like?
So far, really interesting. They do cover a lot of the domains already. Like I said, I think I made it through 5 questions, and I already hit an admin question where I was like, oh, okay, hold on. New hat. Let's adjust where we're thinking. So I had an emergency question, I had a dental question, I had an admin question, and I had a soft tissue question. So they do hit like full gambit. There might have been a rehab question. I don't know how many questions I'm up to, but yeah, so interesting. And they're pretty detailed. Like they are kind of like your board questions. Like when you sat down to take your test. I have not hit anywhere you had to pick all that apply. So far doing great.
I hate those so much.
Those are the
Me
worst.
too. I was like, please don't be in pick all that apply, because I always worry that I'm going to miss one, or mark one too many, or however that
Mhm.
works. So so far they are just simple one answer multiple choice questions.
And it says that when you put a response in, you get immediate feedback, and it provides you with related resources and learning activity
Yes,
recommendations.
It
Is that
does.
accurate?
And you get to pick, you can pick on the bottom as you answer a question if you are confident in your answer or not confident in your answer. And I don't know if that matters, but I like being able to say whether I'm confident or not in my answer. I thought I was confident in my tooth question. I was wrong.
Okay, so we kind of went a little bit over how they work. So you reviewed the challenge questions, select the best answer, you select your level of confidence, which is binary. It's either confident or not confident. And then you have each question tracked by a 5-minute timer, which cannot be paused, as we just found out. If you do not answer the question within 5 minutes, it's marked as missed, and feedback is still provided for learning purposes. If you miss questions, it doesn't matter. So it's not the end of the world. You hit check answer to see if your answer is correct. We just went over, it gives you a brief rationale for the correct answer. And if you needed incorrect responses, it gives you 2 scholarly journal articles, which I think is really cool. And you can favorite them to save them. It gives you an AI generated recommended learning opportunity that may be added to your learning path. We'll get into that a little bit later. It selects a challenge me again to continue, and then it selects a stop for now to exit and return later. So you can stop and come back to it later. You don't have to finish all 15 questions at once. which is why we still have Katie on the podcast.
See, I
'cause
feel
she didn't
like
have to
I
stop.
set us up really well to discuss this. I got 5 questions
did great.
in. I paused. I came back to doing what I should be doing right now instead of being distracted.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's move on to the next. It's not graded. It's just there to help you identify with areas of strength and weaknesses. And we already went over that email notifications will alert you to when a new My Challenge question segment is available. Ashley, anything we missed on those challenge questions?
No, I think you guys did great. And I agree. So far, the questions I thought were really excellent and they were very interesting. So I think that's another reason I'm loving this path.
Cool. Yeah, I'm liking this more and more I hear about it. Okay, so the next part is kind of the more confusing part of this Pathfinder segment. It's the learning paths. So as before, there are different requirements for when you were certified. So the athletic trainers that have been certified prior to 2026 have to have at least 2 learning activities added to their learning path during the 2-year renewal period. Not the segments, during the whole 2-year renewal period. AT certified after 2026, so those of you who are new have to add at least 1 learning activity, again, during the renewal period, not the segments. Ash.
Yeah, and I just want to kind of point out that when you do your SMART goals, they show up in that learning path, but they don't count towards the qualifications of that learning path.
Yeah, so you have to, we'll get into this in just a little bit, but you have to add them to your learning path. They don't count as it. And you can check to see if they've been added based on your dashboard. So when you're going through and you have a bunch of stuff on your learning path, you're like, I don't know if these are added or not. Are they counting? Go back to your dashboard. It'll show you if you have it added correctly. It'll go from 1 or 0 to 1 or 0 to 2 or whatever. So you can double check that way. So what is a learning path? It's a planning tool used to organize and schedule learning activities identified throughout the renewal period. So you're going to have this learning path that's going to grow organically as you're going through your challenge questions. You might say, oh, I don't know a lot about this. I want to go and search and find a CEU, or this one was recommended to me, or this article was recommended to me. You can favorite those based on the feedback from the challenge questions. When you go to your learning path, you can go to favorites and you can see journals that you've favorited, but you can't add them to your learning path. You can create events to your learning path, but that's more for you to kind of stay, kind of have a running list of what you want to focus on moving forward, but they're not going to be learning activities. Those learning activities are going to be CEUs that you can add saying, okay, I need to look at this, or there's an NATA course here that I really want to do. And you can save that to your learning path, favorite it, and then add it as a learning activity. And then you have that to complete at a later date. So it's kind of keep your brain organized for that whole renewal period. Does that sound accurate and make sense, Ashley?
Yeah, it does. And I do highly recommend that when you're doing those challenge questions, you go ahead and add those favorites of the AI generated CEUs, not necessarily just the reference articles, but the CEU classes. Just add them immediately to that favorited so that you can easily find them and quickly add them to your learning path. You can always delete them from your learning path. You do not actually have to complete them, but it's a good way to keep it in one spot where you don't lose it.
Yeah, it's kind of like a list of, hey, here's what I struggled with. I know I need to focus on these. So you just have them there accessible. You don't have to remember it for a later date, which is pretty nice, honestly. I kind of like that.
Me too.
Adding a learning activity. So when you are at that My Challenge question, you get the feedback. You can favorite the CEU. And then when you go to My Learning Path, you just select your favorites. The CEUs that you favorited are on there. And then you have to hit Add to Learning Path. Favoriting them does not add it to the learning path. You have to actually go and click Add to Learning Path. So that's how you get it on there. And then you can check if it went on correctly based on going to the dashboard, looking at your learning path box and seeing if it still says 0 or 1, seeing if it got added on there. Again, you only need 2 learning activities for the whole 2-year renewal period. So the nice thing, if you're an NATA member, little shout out there, you get all these CEUs for free. So while you're doing your CEUs, if you're planning on doing them, add the CEUs to your learning activities that you plan on doing. You only have to add 2 of them just to make sure you satisfied that. And then you can add them, save them, go do them whenever you want, and add them to your CEUs later on. So you can customize that whole learning path. I think the best advice is probably use it and just get comfortable using it, comfortable with how everything shows up. But to kind of wrap everything up, Katie has a good kind of outline. So want to go through what that looks like. But first, we're going to throw it toward Ashley.
I just want to reiterate again that this learning path you do have to add to, but you are not required to complete them or complete them through this program or pay for them through this program. You don't have to do that at all. You just have to literally add them to the dashboard part.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I would guess as you go through, like if you complete something and then go back to add it, if it's within the same quarter, you can probably add it as your activity and complete it if it meets that, if it falls in line with whatever your learning activity wanted to be in the first place. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's not a verification needed.
Because some of our CU opportunities are not currently added to where you can pick them from the drop-down menus. But when you manually add them, you can probably go back and put them as your learning activity, I would guess. Food for thought. If it's not, maybe BOC, make an adjustment. But I'm guessing just because it's brand new, we haven't had the opportunity to add like the RMATA that we're all going to go to, right, is not currently on there for us to add it to our planned activity. And it'll be next quarter anyway. But once we complete that and go back to add it, it could probably be one of your learning path activities.
Because we can see things in the past that we can add. So
we will find out. And we'll find out with everybody else.
Yeah. All right, Katie, do you want to run through your quick reminder outline?
Yes. So the timeline of this, just the quick of all the things we've covered, quick basics of it. The timeline is the 2-year renewal period. Renewal period is what matters, is the 2 years. You are going to go through your goals and set your 2 SMART goals. Your SMART goals can be set at the beginning of the period, and it encourages you to adjust and modify as your renewal period goes on. You will complete the 7 of 8 multi-choice questionnaires. Sorry, I'm bad with what MCQ means because I just say MCQ all the time. So you're going to complete your 7 of 8 segments of MCQs. That's required. That part's required. While you do that, you're going to have recommended learning opportunities that you can add to your learning path. You are required to add at least 2 learning activities to your learning path. Completion of those activities is encouraged but not required. You have to add them to your path, encouraged to complete them, but not required to complete them. You then will do a My Reflection at the end of the renewal period. So all of this has to be done in the renewal period. You do have to set your goals. You do have to answer your multi-choice questions. You do have to add 2 things to your learning path, and you do have to do a reflection, and you do have to do 40 CEUs. 40 CEUs required, learning path things not required. Must be added, not required. Pay your fees, maintain your CPR.
Perfect.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think that's a good summary. CEUs, those 40 CEUs are due January 31st, 2028. And the certification renewal for 2026 is February 1st, 2027. And for 2027, it is due January 31st of 2028. So that should be everything. I feel better going through this. I feel like I have a better grasp of what we're doing here. But just keep in mind, this is a new process. So there's going to be some hiccups. If you have any confusion, we'll give you Katie's cell phone number and you can just reach out personally to her to ask any questions.
Yeah, let's do that. Don't call the BOC with your questions. Just call me. It's fine. I'm really, you know what I'm really good at saying? I don't know, but I'll get back to you, and I'll probably call the BOC and ask them. Actually, that's not true. I'll call Ashley. Ashley will call the BOC. You see what you would start here? This is just a phone tree. Eventually, Ashley will call the BOC for you.
All right, quick question to close this out. I promise it's quick because my last question was not quick. Are there still restrictions on how many category A, B, C, D? That's still in place, correct?
Correct. You still have to have a minimum of category A, and then, there are the restrictions on the rest of the categories. I just don't remember those numbers off the top of my head. I
don't either, but I didn't see anything when we were going through. Is it 10 category A?
Correct.
Okay. I didn't see anything when we were going through, but just wanted to throw that out and make sure. I'm assuming once we start entering the CEUs in that box, it'll populate and let you know. So any last thoughts on this, guys?
Yeah,
Cool.
it's not as complicated as it seems. I'm sorry,
Nope.
CJ.
No,
Always,
you're
I
good, you're
always
good,
have
you're
a final question or final statement. I'm sorry. It's really not as complicated as it seems. Once you get into it and start clicking through, it's not overly complicated. Just get into it, play with it, do it before April 30th so that you are opted in. Unless you just want to opt out and do it your way and get your 50, that's fine too. Currently, right now, you can do either as long as you don't graduate in May. If you
Yeah,
graduate in May, you have to do this.
Yeah. Okay, so another thing we have coming up is the RMATA. Is down in Colorado Springs this summer. I believe it's May. Anybody have the dates on hand?
The 29th through the 31st.
It is May 29th to the 31st down in Colorado Springs. So make sure you book a hotel. We have a booking block for the hotel rooms. Make sure you register to go. We will be there, so please stop by and say hi. We'll be doing a recording in one of the rooms. So should be a lot of fun. We want to see a lot of people from Colorado there because it is our home state. We're hosting it, so we want to have a good showing. So please consider making it there. Should be a really good time. All right, well, that will do it for this Pathfinder episode. Hopefully you guys found this as helpful as we did when creating it. Thank you so much again to Ashley, Katie, and Amy for all their help on this episode and their expertise. If you guys enjoyed this conversation, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the podcast with a colleague. That helps us immensely get out to more athletic trainers and get more feedback back. So let us know if you're enjoying the show. Either email us, leave us a comment on Spotify, however you feel like doing it. New episodes are released every other Friday, so be sure to check out for the next one or check back for the next one. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for listening and take care.